Alright, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. It's actually going to be another best of 3 from WCS Winter. It's going to be Haas versus SortOf on the map Automaton. So we've got ourselves a Protoss taking on a Zerg here, and spawning up in the top right hand side of the map, it's Haas. And in the bottom left hand side of the map, it's SortOf. Big fans of both of these players, so I personally have no idea the results of this series, so I'm excited to see how it's going to play out. Haas and SortOf are two very great players at this game, definitely a lot better than me. But no, we'll see how it's going to play out, because Haas is known to be a little bit of a wild card, and we'll see how SortOf's going to deal with potential shenanigans coming his way. Before I get too far into this video, though, I just want to say if you guys are enjoying these casts, make sure to hit that like button, as I usually just say it at the end of the video, but I think most people tune out by then, so feel free to hit that like button. Let's try and hit 20 likes for this, as we're doing the full best of 3. We're going the distance, so going to be casting all the matches from this series. And basically that means the first one of them to win 2 matches is considered the winner. As far as this PvZ goes, everything is pretty standard so far, though. We've got just standard hatch first. Nothing too crazy from Haas. There is limited options you can do right at the start of the game for Protoss, like the days of super early proxy gateways and stuff aren't really there anymore. So even if you want to play a little bit crazy, you got to be a bit patient. And as far as the comments that you guys have been leaving on the videos, great to see some of you guys leaving those. As far as the comment, we're gonna go for one from WarGumby. WarGumby X is his username, and that was on the Braddock versus Cham series. And from the sound of things, he's a Terran player, as he says Braddock would have won easily. Spoilers alert! If he hadn't picked Terran. Biggest mistake a player can make in SC2. So a bit of a salty Terran there. And to that, I say, guys, if you're a Protoss or a Zerg, feel free to flame the Terrans in the comments. Doesn't matter, but great to see you guys chatting away in those. But let's see. Probe for Haas is going to go down. Yeah, he ain't getting away from those lings. Just running on in, I guess, confirming the timing there. He hasn't thrown up any proxy pylons or anything. Getting into this game, just my usual ramblings for the first minute or two, but looks like it's going to be starting to heat up a little bit here. As a Twilight Council and a Robo on the way for Haas. The Twilight Council quicker than the Robo, so definitely going to be researching something. This makes me think the fact that he's making a Zealot, that he's probably going to be starting Charge, if I had to take a guess. Let's see, he's got enough money, maybe Blink or something. Let's see, a Dark Shrine. Okay, completely ignore me. Oh no, Haas. Big mistake from Haas. The lings for SortOf get on in. He throws up the Dark Shrine, what's supposed to be a very sneaky strategy, and SortOf just gets a ling in there and scouts it perfectly. So he's completely aware of what's going to be coming his way, and now we'll see what Haas is going to be able to do versus this. As, yeah, just Queen, or what SortOf is going to be able to do versus this. Haas is in a bit of a rough spot right now. Let's see, Roach Warren on the way for SortOf. Generally just a good response. You see the Dark Shrine, you fire up your lair, you'll start your spores in a minute or two. Now, keep in mind that all the lethality of a push like this is not necessarily from basically the opening of the DTs. The DTs, because they can morph into Archons, and Archon drops are good pretty much at any time of the game. So it's not like the days of old in which the Protoss was really in trouble if their Dark Shrine was scouted like that, because they've sort of figured out, hey, Archon drops are pretty good. So while he's not going to have a crazy element of surprise or anything, SortOf definitely knows this is coming. Haas still could very well get some damage done depending on his micro and everything, and depending on whether SortOf's positioned to deal with this or not. SortOf now making a few roaches, but in comes Haas. He's going to be flying on in with that Warp Prism, warping the DTs right into the main base of SortOf. Currently just 3, as he's only got 3 gateways, but he's actually going into the main base, and there's no Spore or Overseer here just yet. Where is the Overseer for SortOf? Not actually here in time. Haas is going to focus down the hatchery. SortOf, he's trying to get drones on it, but he can't actually see the DTs. So Haas, I think he's going to get this hatchery. Oh, it's going to be close, but no, yeah, that Overseer just too slow. SortOf, despite knowing that this was coming his way, was not adequately prepared and just took one heck of a beating. Now, let's take a look here. Immortal on the way for Haas. He has yet to research any tech as a follow-up, but getting the main base is a lot more than he should have done because sort of knew that was coming, but he didn't prepare. Looks like we're going to be seeing a drop from sort of maybe a Ling drop here. Okay, yeah, so Ling's going to be trying to get something done, but is Haas ready for this? He doesn't know about it, I don't think. So we'll see how much damage the Lings are going to be able to get. Haas moving on to the next stage of his attack, actually transforming these DTs into Archons now, basically making them more muscular in that attack. And 2 Adepts going to be moving in for Haas. I love 2 Adept harassment. I think it's incredibly underrated as just 2 Adepts at any point in the game. If they get near some drones, which they're pretty good at since they can just shade and teleport, they can just focus them down left and right. So these Adepts going to be targeting down some drones. We'll see what they're able to get done. Meanwhile, the main base having Archons and more DTs being warped on in, so the hatchery going to be under fire. We'll see if Haas is able to get this hatchery. That being said, though, Ling's in the main base of Haas now, and he's not responding. He needs to run those probes. He actually recalls something to try and help deal with this. Lings are going to be going down, so this will be getting dealt with. 2 of them still make it into the natural, but Haas, he lost 12 workers there. And, yeah, oh man, let's see. Sort of in a bit of trouble right now, or Haas in a bit of... I don't know who's in trouble, guys. This has been a bit of a wacky game, but Haas didn't, or he did manage to delay the main base once again, which is pretty important for him. And so getting that's nice. He shuts down that dropper lord that caused him so much damage. 38 probes on 2 bases, not necessarily a good thing for a Protoss. Just being on 2 bases in general for this long isn't comfortable as a Protoss. You generally want something else coming your way. Or it's possible that Haas may just go for a big counter all-in as his +1 is finishing, his charge is going to be finishing, and he's going to be having an Immortal on the way. So we'll see what he's able to get done. Archon's going to be unloading here. They're going to be picking off a creep tumor, but they got to get out of there. And the problem is, sort of has so many roaches. So I don't know if Haas is going to be able to break this. I mean, Immortals, Charge Lots, and yeah, Immortals, Charge Lots, and Archons are pretty darn good. And he does have 3 Immortals, which are pretty darn good versus roaches. So that may be all that Haas needs. Maybe he'll warp on in another Archon or something. He's got to be wary of this roach counterattack that's coming his way, though. So that could be a very nice move for sort of. Meanwhile, the Archon's in the Prism, just sitting back. But Haas is going to be moving on in, and this will be a pretty scary attack. The +1 and Sentries are really going to help him out. He's got more Archons out. So 4 Archons, 3 Immortals. Going to be going for this attack. Some Zealots to buffer. Sort of knows this is coming his way. And he's actually going for a counter drop with Roaches in the natural base of Haas. So Haas really needs to get some damage done here, as he's still on 2 bases. So in comes Haas. Let's see what he's able to get done. He's charging on in towards SortOf, but you got to be so careful. Otherwise, the Zerg will just back up, and you'll bleed off units as the Protoss player. But SortOf can only back up so far, and Haas wants to push him. But now there's roaches in his natural dealing damage, so Haas really needs to go for it. Force fields have gone down, but there's not really a lot of Zealots to buffer for this. The Immortals are putting out a fair bit of damage, though, picking off some roaches. Corrosive Bowels have gone down left, right, and center, though, trying to hit this army, take out the force fields, and so far they've done a good job. Haas, he's got the 3 Immortals, so I want to say there's always a chance, but SortOf is really dictating this fight. Haas can't really commit on in, as SortOf will just fall back, but now SortOf maybe looks to push on in. No, he's just buying so much time as he's making more and more roaches, and Archon gets picked off. A second Archon falls. The others are running low on shields, so they're getting softened up. These 3 Immortals have a lot of work to do. Corrosive Bowel's gonna land, hit the Sentries, hit the Immortals. Force fields go down, but they're not really doing a lot for Haas. And this Roach in the natural base has actually cleaned everything up. That DT that was warped into to save everything just didn't do its job, so Haas really running out of steam here, losing probes. He's going to transfer some just to try and keep that economy going as well as he can, but he hasn't been able to break SortOf. He's down an army supply by a whack load, and I think he's in a bit of trouble. I mean, Immortals are good, but are they that good? Force fields slowing down. He can kite back. If SortOf overextends, maybe there's a chance, but no, there's just so many roaches here. Haas going to juggle these Immortals in the Prism to the best of his ability. Everything else is just left for dead, though. So 3 Immortals for Haas versus SortOf, who's in a pretty good spot. He got a DT into the main base of the Zerg, but I don't think he got a lot of damage done with it. And now we're seeing a Spire on the way for SortOf. Haas, he's running in with a DT, maybe gonna get the Queen. There's no real detection here. Okay, there we go. Overseer coming on back. And in goes sort of looking to push on into Haas. Haas isn't dead just yet. He's got 3 immortals, 2 of them in a prism, so going for some more harassment. But what can he get done? Because in comes Sort of. He's going to be pushing on in towards the natural base of the Protoss player. There's force fields for Haas, but Ravagers are pretty good at breaking those down. The gateways aren't going to last for long. And yeah, Haas desperately warping in sentries, but he's got nothing to support the sentries. So he is in a world of trouble. These immortals going for the counterattack. We'll see what they can get done, but there's roaches and lings waiting for Sort of. And these are pretty red immortals. So Haas really committing to this attack, warping some zealots to back these guys up. Needs to micro the immortals. Loses one of them though. That hurts, and he's losing his natural base as this is going on. So far, he's actually holding on, but once those force fields are gone, he's going to be in a fair bit of trouble, I feel. Not to mention the Spire on the way, so, Haas. I mean, the supply's evened up. Like, the gap is not as big as it once was, but it's still not great for the Protoss. Haas still on 2 bases, but, I mean, he's hanging on. You gotta give that to him. That being said, he's going to have to deal with 6 mutas on the way. Sort of can only afford 6 since his economy isn't fantastic. Meanwhile, another DT getting into the natural base for Haas. He's going to start picking off drones here and there. Maybe Haas is going to have to push out or something. Does he have a prism still? No, he lost his warp prism. That hurts. If he had a prism... Oh, never mind. He does have a prism. Silly me. I totally missed that. There's the prism. Yeah. So the prism got an immortal and it's going to try and get him out of there. Definitely can't afford to lose that prism as... That's going to allow him to counterattack and maybe keep the pressure off him. He's warping in some more DT. He's going to be getting Archons as his anti-air, but in goes the mutas for Sort of. Meanwhile, 10 drones have died somewhere. I think that must have been another DT or something. So Haas is making a game out of this, but still, he's in a world of trouble right now as these mutas are now in his natural base. He's got 2 more gateways on the way, but he's got shield batteries at his natural, but he needs a stalker or something to shoo those away. Instead, he's just focusing on the attack. He eats a lot of corrosive vials, loses one of the immortals pretty much immediately. Haas having a real bad time. He's just going for the attack now or never, but the prism, it's eating corrosive vials and it falls, so that is it for the army of Haas. And GG Sort of takes the game. Well played by Sort of. And, okay. We'll get on into the next game as soon as we can here. I've just got to re-sign in because the replays get broken whenever Blizzard releases an update. So, here we are. Into the next game. And away we go. Sort of versus Haas. Match number 2. We'll see who's going to take this one. I mean, that was a pretty crazy game. But Sort of definitely coming out on top there, seeing as how he won the match. Losing his main hatchery was pretty darn bad, but he dealt so much counter damage to Haas. And as a result, he's got a 1-0 lead in this best of 3. Whereas Haas needs to win the next 2 maps. Sort of just needs to win this one. And spawning down in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it is Sort of. And up in the top left-hand side of the map, it's Haas. Haas doing a lot better these days in his play, I'd say. Like, he has some much better results than he would in the past. Like, in the past, he was kind of just a meme, in a sense. I mean, like, he'd play these crazy strategies and everyone would be like, oh my god, Haas is insane, but then he'd never really get results to back it up. And then he came like second in a WCS event, and now he, I'd say, more routinely beats good players. So that's very exciting for him. But this game, can he beat Sort of? I feel like Sort of's probably read up on Haas since it's a big tournament like WCS. And oh, the mind games from Sort of, just going to be taking his 3rd base first instead of his 2nd, his natural, as yeah, that's kind of weird, but I guess it's just to throw Haas off. Like, you're playing versus the weird guy, you might as well try and catch him off guard. Haas though, gonna be changing things up himself, going for a Nexus first, so really focusing on the economy. If you are a cheesy player, economic cheese is still a valid strategy. It's risky, but there's high reward, just like a lot of strategies in Starcraft 2. So we'll see how this one's going to pay off for him. Assimilator's on the way. Double assimilator for Haas. And Just got to do that because you delay your first one since you go for the Nexus first. And in comes Haas with his probe. Gonna see there's no natural for SortOf. Might panic a little bit, but he sees the spawning pool time and he's just gonna know there's a hatchery somewhere else. The math has to add up, so he's probably gonna check the third. We'll see where this probe's going, and he is gonna go check the third base. I mean, it could have potentially been a proxy, but not too likely, just because you don't usually proxy off... Or I guess you do go hatch first for proxy. I don't know, guys. I'm not a cheesy Zerg player. Not proxy hatcheries anyway. I just Ling Rush every game. Metabolic boost on the way here for SortOf. So getting that Ling speed. We'll see if he expands and takes his actual natural again pretty quickly. I think that's something that you usually want to do instead of... we're not likely to see a 2-base or something. A 2-base all-in, I don't think. Off of just like your one hatchery at your third base location. So there we go, SortOf taking his third hatchery when really it's his second, if that makes any sense. Stargate on the way here for Haas. Gonna be just going for that, a pretty standard PvZ opening. We'll see what he's able to get done with it. Haas sometimes known for going for more than one Stargate and making a lot of oracles or something like that. But I don't know if he'll be doing that again. I mean, the Mass Oracle was a pretty fun strategy, but I think the Hydra changes really nerfed it in a sense. And the Oracles maybe got nerfed, don't quote me on that. Anyway, we see that strategy less, because there was times where even like the best Protoss players like Neeb were doing it, but we don't see that too much anymore. One Oracle on the way for Haas. Meanwhile, he's just getting up another gateway to complete his wall, so going for 3 gates and an Oracle. That makes me think he's going to be going for an expansion. A probe is moving out on the map. We'll see where this guy's going, because where's he going? He's actually queued up to the north, which is interesting. What are you going to be doing with that, Haas? He's getting up an extra gateway, so he's going for a 4th gateway. This is bizarre. 4 gates with no Twilight Council or anything. Is Haas just going to go for like a mass unupgraded gateway unit attack? He's got 2 adepts for now. They, where'd they go? They're shading on into the natural, but they're going to be getting on out of there. So Haas, yeah, he's just going to be going for like some sort of attack. Either that, yeah, he's playing weird, man. I don't understand. He's going for oracles. Going to be getting out his 2nd oracle. We'll see if he's queued up at 3rd. He hasn't just yet. He starts up a robo now, and then he proxied a pylon. So kind of weird strats coming out of the time when he's Protoss player. Overlord's going to fly on in for SortOf. See an extra gateway finishing up. A Stalker will pick him off, but a Roach Warren on the way for SortOf. Is he going to be prepared for any sort of shenanigans like this? Oracle for Haas has to be careful. Going to pick off a Creep Tumor. Going to want to get on out of there. So you got to be careful with those oracles. Oh, looks like a potential counterattack for SortOf. Oh man, this is absolutely huge. SortOf gets on into the natural base of Haas. He's going to begin picking off whatever he can. Adepts were warped in for Haas since he's got a lot of gateways. That helps out, but yeah, this still really hurts. This is not what you want to deal with as a Protoss player. These Adepts are doing a good job cleaning up the Lings. There's even one left at the natural, so she's going to be doing the best that she can. So nicely done by Haas for cleaning this up. He's going for a bit of counterattack with just 6 unupgraded Adepts, but sort of 24 more Lings on the production tab. We'll see. Are these Adepts going to shade on into the natural? They are, but they're already kind of surrounded there by the Lings. The Oracles are coming on in for the assist. Can sort of clean this up. The Oracles have found themselves in a nice spot that the Lings can't really attack onto this. Queen's going to be working away on these oracles as well. The Adepts, meanwhile, they're going to shade towards the 3rd base, try and get what they can done. Drones are even coming on in for this round, and SortOf hasn't lost too many workers so far, but Haas loses the oracles. 4 drones have gone down, but was that enough damage for Haas? Keep in mind, he's kind of all in with this attack, or I guess rather committed, at least, as he doesn't have any extra tech on the way. He's picked off a few drones, 4 drones, and he's actually got a worker lead for now, but SortOf, he's firing up 11 more drones. Haas, his follow-up to this, it's going to be 5 more gateways on the way, so he's going to be going up to 9 gateways as the Protoss player. So one big all-in to follow this up. SortOf, though, he held the first round of this attack, and that's pretty good for the Zerg player. Can he close it out? Because Haas is going to be coming at him with a lot of gateway units, and yeah, I mean, Immortals and Gateway units, they always can hit these sort of odd timings that sometimes Zerg players will just fold to. The two Immortals are really going to be the backbone of this push, but no, Haas not going for an attack, actually just throws up a third base here. He's going to be having 9 gateways, but then he's planning an attack. So that's a bizarre one, but then he's throwing up a third base, so that's a bizarre one. Maybe it's a fake out for SortOf. However, I don't think you're sleeping on Haas at the moment if you're SortOf, as this guy has just been going for so many odd attacks, and you really can't underestimate him. A very cool counterattack for SortOf. Once again, he got a lot of damage done in that last game. Ling's going to be getting on into the main base of Haas. Haas, though, warping in Stalkers, Immortals, Sentries. Maybe he can make this push work. There's Spine Crawlers going up for SortOf, but it is a pretty good position for the Protoss with force fields to push on in, so maybe Haas can make something work. However, Lings have got into his natural. Probes fighting, I guess. These Lings are just holding position while the Zealot chews into them. Haas really focused on this main base attack for now, though. We'll see what he's able to get done. He's warped in a ton of Stalkers. He's got Sentries. I mean, maybe he doesn't have enough to hold on here. Good force field for starters for Haas, pushing part of this army back. The units on the ramp for SortOf have to be very careful not to get caught out when Haas steps forward. Just units on the production tab for both players. Army supply going to be a little bit deceiving since some sort of supply is tied up in that production, but he's just going to dive right on top of that. The force fields weren't ready to prevent the Lings getting in there. Good micro from Haas, though, pulling back the Immortals. However, he doesn't seem to have enough of a buffer here. SortOf stepping forward. Haas is going to type out. He knows it's over. GG. The Swedish Zerg player takes the best of 3. And, yeah, very well played by SortOf, taking that series. What a great Protoss versus Zerg watching these two. But in the end, it seems that the more consistent player was able to take it. SortOf just playing straight up. Countered the shenanigans of Haas. And if you guys enjoyed this cast, make sure to hit that like button. I said so at the start of this video, but it does help out. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave them. Otherwise, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, as I'm always putting out new videos. I shall see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.